two things that aren't that fascinating to me.
Okay, so what is your first name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, okay. And your zip code?
63116.
And the first 4 digits on the front of your credit card?
No clue.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, this is Rebecca.
In the 15th Ward.
This is Rebecca, who's a total cutie, who grew up in Lewis County, Missouri, right?
Yeah. Newport Village.
Newport Village, which is a predominantly Democratic area, right? Mm-hmm. And you, when you were a young whippersnapper in 1992, were actually standing in the middle of a highway or a road of some sort on behalf of Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah. I had a big sign that said Missouri Families for Clinton. Gore.
And now, up where you come from, though, the Democrats are pretty conservative.
For the most part. Like, some hold the party line, but the majority that win, state offices, state representative, are pro-guns and pro-life.
And you tend to be that way too, or?
Yeah, I do. Definitely not afraid of guns, and and definitely pro-life.
And so when you voted, you couldn't vote in '92 because you were still a young whippersnapper. Then '96 rolled around, and you were able to be Clinton, right?
Right.
And then 2000 rolls around, but let's fast forward to 2008. And you, who have actually worked for Democrats, proudly, I'm sure, and come from a Democratic family in a Democratic area in Lewis County, Missouri, are going to be voting Republican.
First time.
First time ever?
Yeah.
Why?
Basically, I'm scared of the alternative. Obama, I don't understand the answers he gives, the speeches he gives. It's impressive, but the stuttering and sometimes he gives answers that sound like something I would give, and I'm not prepared to be the president, and I don't understand how he's prepared just based on his good looks or whatever.
And now we have long maintained, though, Rebecca, that there are Democrats out there who still are so-called Reagan Democrats, or they're conservative Democrats, and are worried that the Democratic Party in its current incarnation hasn't necessarily embodied some of the values that, for instance, Democrats in Lewis County have embodied. And, I mean, you're far from Lewis County, but you know what? Your values didn't disappear when you left.
Right. I guess I grew into some of my values. I may have held some party line Democratic things had I not, I guess, matured and had to make choices in my life where I just thinking hard, I go, oh, I know what I believe and I know what's wrong.
When did you decide you were going to vote Republican?
That was
pre-Sarah Palin.
Oh, definitely. It was before the primaries. Because I was, concerned with primaries, whether or not I should be voting, Democratic or Republican in the primaries, because typically in the city you vote Democratic ticket because that's all there is to vote for. I was kind of torn because I was going to go with a Democratic ticket, and I didn't know which was the lesser of,
Yeah. You have friends, though, who are mixed, right? Like you. I mean, you have friends who are going to vote for sure Democrat and some Republican,
and
that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah. I got friends who are in shock right now.
that you're voting Republican?
Yeah, they thought they knew who I was going to vote for, but I don't think they realized that when it came down to it, I mean, it really came down to once Obama, sealed the deal, I knew there was no way I was going to vote him.
Well, let's put it this way. If Hillary were the nominee, would you vote?
No, it still would have been McCain, but I don't know. I'm trying to think back when exactly it happened.
Yeah. But a lot of it is just...
my husband actually went on... This sounds silly, I know, but he went online to some service where they ask you a stream of like 20, 40 questions, and they'll tell you who you line up with best. And this was pre-primary, so you had a dozen people that they would align you with, and McCain was my man back then.
Wow.
And I went, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have picked, some random old white guy, to line up with me. But then once he picked Sarah Palin, I mean, that pretty much, I was ecstatic.
Yeah,
for that.
she's very cool. Well, Rebecca, thank you very much. We'll see you at the voting booth in November. Thanks. Okay.